Okay, so here is the Adobe Photoshop Mix, sorry. When you open this app, which is free, first thing I want you to do is watch this tutorial with the roses. It's really good. So let me pause that for a second because I didn't realize how fast that was going to go. You can see in this screen here, in the home screen even, when you first open up the app, excuse me, the first thing there, the yellow thing, that was one of my things I was playing with. There are two tutorials. The one with the crocodile, I couldn't get that to play right on my iPad. It was like it wasn't formatted correctly, so the buttons were off my screen. It was very strange. So hopefully it'll work for you, but I don't know. Oh shoot, there we go. We'll start it again. So please watch the flower one. It's super short, but it's basically what I want you to try starting today. But I'm going to show you some things too. This is just like what I would do at school. So hit the plus, and then you get some options. I'm going to suggest, this is what happens if you hit custom canvas. You don't need to do that. Click right on image. It'll take you to a variety of options to choose from, including shared things, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and things that you've uploaded to the cloud. But here's my camera roll. So you might notice that and recognize that subject. First thing that, and if you watch the tutorials first, this will make a lot more sense, but I use the crop tool, and I'm coming in and I'm kind of playing with cropping in on that again. I also kind of angled it some, which I thought was pretty snazzy. It's stacking up image layers and things on the right. Then I touched looks, which is the same as filters. You should notice a lot of those words at the bottom remind you of Instagram and other things, filters and sort of, well, they're filters. So when you click on those, you can see some things that you can add, but also look, I clicked on it. It's a selection tool. They call it the Smart Selection, I think. And then I'm starting to play with all these things here. I didn't really know how the feather tool worked. So like if I click on it once, it goes away, but you have to click and slide. And now I'm painting on my subject. And what it's doing is selecting out the stuff that was filtered. You know what I mean? So like it's basically masking it out, which is kind of neat. Like I didn't know that was going to happen. So I decided to pick one that's going to contrast more. So where it's painting, it's creating the mask. So I'm playing with the feather, how much feather is there. There's an add to and a subtract toggle on the far left. One thing that I was having trouble doing was figuring out the size of my brush. So like when I got up there, you see I couldn't control it very well. There's got to be a size thing. Also, I see that thing that says edges that is square. I didn't even look at that. In hindsight, I can see. But for mine being all fuzzy, it didn't really matter. So I decided to leave it. And then once you want to apply it, you've got to, I guess, hit the check mark there on the side. So there's also cutout, which is definitely more like a mask. That's the third option in. But I decided to go with, oh, I clicked on the crop tool. I couldn't figure out why it keeps showing the rest of the picture. So I guess it's just there in case you want to get back to it. Oh no, it's kind of weird. You can, one of the wonderful things about these Adobe apps is that they let you pull from things that you've already done in other places and other apps, or send to other places and other apps. So like our ultimate goal is going to be to take from your cloud and bring it in, but you know, we're going to work our way up to that. The stuff like that you've been doing, and maybe actually you already want to. I just grabbed this photograph, which most of you have seen before, but you could be grabbing from the stuff that you did in Capture. Okay, so like you made a pattern in Capture, hopefully, you could put that as an overlay or in the back of one of these. You know, we're going to hopefully get more complex in the next couple weeks that we have left. So here I just brought over the texture of this picture that Brooke Hathaway took. And now I'm adjusting the opacity of the sidewalk photograph, I was getting a little confused because it seemed like the wall hanging photograph also was more see-through, which I didn't understand how that was happening. So I decided just to dump that like on there, and then I turned off that layer. And then I went down to this layer and I'm like, why did you get so small again? And why are you, it looked like it was not full opacity, but it was. So I was just getting a little confused. And then I noticed that there, for some reason, there was space under it again. I don't know what was happening. So I made a white fill layer and I put that on the bottom. That's when I noticed that it had gotten small, I think. And I didn't know why. Oh, no, then I went back up there. So I'm just playing, and this is what I would like you to do. So this is basically a photo composite, and this is exactly what we would have been doing in class. We took an entire texture shoot for a reason, okay? But then you've also been taking other things like those extreme lighting pictures, or you had a free shoot. So I've been looking at, because my desk is now in my room, and I've been looking at this thing on the wall, which is actually, I mean, it's quite pretty, but it's like in that ugly spot on my wall. So I want you to take some things and start working on overlays, and let's try it in this, oh, computer.